Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, think about subscribing. There's going to be several videos of this barn build. It is going to take probably about 20 videos worth to show the whole build from start to finish. The concrete work and the dirt work was done by Armstrong Concrete, but everything else structure-wise, my wife and I did. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to stop and try to give you tips and tricks along the way, but you're going to need more than that to build a barn on your own. So don't think that we're going to teach you the entire way to do it. You need to do a lot of research on your own before building your own structure. So I hope you enjoyed the videos, and if you haven't already, hit that like button. All right, day 4. We're going to get those walls up today. So yesterday you could probably see on the video on the west wall when we were using the tractor. So Chrissy was just nervous about getting on the wall and climbing on it. But when we were using the tractor and then she seen me climbing out on it and seeing that it was more stable than what she thought it was. A lot of people are actually kind of nervous about stuff like that. But these braces aren't attached to the ground at all. There's only one screw in all of the braces. I know that one has got 2 holes, but it's only got 1 screw. Like that one's only got 1 screw. Most of them only have 1 screw. The beginning ones right here had 2 because we were trying to keep everything level. It didn't work because whenever we tightened the bolts down here, it ended up pulling them out because of how the top of the concrete is just, the inside has a lip and then the outside has a lip. Well, the problem is you can see the board doesn't go all the way across. So right now it's sitting up a little bit on this lip, which causes the wall to lean out just about, I don't know, probably 1 inch or 2 at the top. Well, just to kind of show, I mean, yeah, the wall will move a little bit. You can hear that board dragging around, but it's not going to fall over with you on it unless you're just, I mean, you got to really be throwing your weight around to try to get it off, to try to get it off balance like that. But like, and then right here, I mean, I can't even get it to move those boards right there. And then we'll try down here. I mean, you guys seen towards the end we were climbing all over this stuff, but so like they'll move a little bit. I'm not gonna say they won't. The braces are there for like if a storm comes about, or if we're climbing on the wall and we make sudden movements that might shift our weight and cause it to lean one way or the other. That's really the biggest purpose of the braces. Oops. That was my alarm. Chrissy woke me up early. By the way, it's about 6:45. Anyways, so we have bolts holding us to the concrete. That's what makes it more stable. Now, if you didn't have the bolts holding it to the concrete, absolutely, it would be more unstable, and you would have to have 2 screws in all of these braces. The reason you have to have 2 screws is because the 2 screws make it to where that board is stuck at that angle and it can't shift, it can't change, well, without snapping the screw or the board. But that's just where we're at. We're also going to try something new because Kevin, who is an outstanding neighbor, always helping us, just love that man, he brought us a boom, I guess you call it a boom pole. Well, it's for a 3-point hitch. Well, obviously none of the 3 points on our tractors are going to reach high enough. Well, he basically had the idea that, hey, I've got this, you could strap it to the forks of the tractor, and then you'd be able to lift the walls up, because we only need a little bit more reach. If I could reach, so right here, that's basically as high as my tractor can reach, right there. And this wall right here alone is a little over 13 feet, and this wall probably is about 3 feet right there. So that's, like I said, that's the extent of our reach, about 16 feet with the loader on the big tractor. So we're going to put that boom pole on there so that whenever the forks are up, there's going to be a small extension that sits past it. We'll have a chain on it, and that chain will be attached to the wall in the lane. We'll put, like, for instance, we'll have it attached at 2 sides to kind of balance it, but we'll lift that chain, and then all we'll have to do is go up there, disconnect the chain, and after we attach everything in the wall. But we're going to put the purlins on, and we're going to put the double top plate. I know we're not going to put the double top plate on yet because we didn't take a measurement. Well, We'll put the purlins on and then I'll run up there and we can do the top plate, because with the purlins on, these attach on the sole plate, and then we tighten the bolts. They're sturdy enough at that point that we really don't have to worry about too much. All right, that's enough talking for this morning. Let's get going. I'll show you the boom pole when we get to it. All right, this right here, this is known as a boom pole. This one's designed to be on the 3-point. That's why it's got this stud, that stud, and then this bracket here. Obviously, we're not putting it on 3-point. We're gonna mount it right here on the front. Those trusses weigh 250 pounds each. But 250 pounds, 8 foot or 7, probably 6 foot, I guess 6 or 7 foot from that point, it really increases the weight. It has these support brackets here, which are gonna take a lot of the load. And then it's also got a stress relief on the top. It's got a tab coming up, and it's got a metal rod that was bent to hold there to bridge that weight onto the brackets. So on this loop on the end is where we'll put our chain through, and then on the shorter ones we can actually put it right here, but when we get to the higher trusses we're gonna have to use up there. But for now, let's we're gonna just go ahead and strap this thing on. So that's how the boom pole works. Obviously we're leaning to the outside, but we'll fix that because I'll back up a little bit once we get these bottom screws in and we get a support on there. All right, so when you assemble them on the ground like we're doing here, if you do all your measurements, you can mark it right there. I'm gonna show you here in a second how I'll mark it all on this one 2x6, and then I'll hold it up to the other studs that are gonna be on that same wall, and I'll mark it all the way across them. That way I don't have to do any measurements, no spacer boards, no nothing. Real quick, before I show you the marking trick. Keep going, it'll pull it in. There. It's all right. It's touching at the bottom, it's just not quite cut at the same angle, I guess. So this was a 5 foot, so then this one needs to be 10 foot. So Chrissy will actually, she'll screw those two in place. I'll cut this, and then we'll screw this in. And then I'll take this 10 footer and use it in another spot. And then this will be a 15 footer. And then this will be a 20, and then we're back to 5s. So just like we did on these walls, we always want to stagger all the seams. We don't want them ever to line up. That would make a wall incredibly weak. All right, now I'm gonna find that speed square. All right, so I've got my first mark for my spacer there. I'll put my other one right here. And then I'll put this. This is simulating a 2x4 running across here. Other one right there. Make my mark. Next mark. Same thing. Oh my goodness. Make sure that when you're using boards and spacers, you're holding them the right way, because this is the normal width of a 2x4, because this is the full width of it. If I put it this way, going with the grain, it's not, because I cut it. I'm just using it as a spacer. So make sure you're always holding it the right way. I'm gonna go grab some boards. All right, we got our boards next to each other. Take our speed square, find our first lines that we made. Come right across. Same thing. Just like that, everything is marked real quick, all 4 boards. So if you were doing, let's say I was doing all the studs like that, it would have been a lot quicker. Now, it would have been a lot quicker if we would have built these all on the ground, but at the time we didn't have a way that we were going to be able to suspend it like that, and lifting it with the forks when it's connected like this makes it very difficult to let go of, especially whenever we're trying to balance the wall and attach it. But just like that, all the way across, we're all good, easy to do. Now, whoever you're working with, the more days you work together, the better the more efficient you're going to get, because you're going to learn one. So like, I have the knowledge of building, Chrissy's learning, so she's learning each day. So like, whenever I'm doing some stuff, now she's like, hey, should I be doing this next? And then she starts doing it, so it makes it to where it goes a lot quicker. All these are marked now. I gotta cut that one real quick, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, all the walls are up except for one, and that one is not going to go up until we get the trusses. Well, I'm trying to think of how to put this. Basically, I can't do that one until we do a lot of the trusses, and the reason being is because if I put that one up, what it's going to do is it's going to make it a headache to get my trusses in. My trusses are 40 feet wide. This right here is a 30-foot opening. But what I can do is I can turn them, so when I have them on that boom lift like we used for this wall and for these walls, I can put them on that boom lift, and whoever's on the ground can actually turn them and make it to where we can fit through there. And then once I get the tractor through, I'll lift them up and they'll keep them in the direction that they need to be going. Excuse me. So that is why this wall is not up, and it's not gonna go up until we get back farther. Once we get back farther, because if you look at it, basically all of my trusses, this will be the last truss right here that goes up before we put that wall on. And then once we do that, what we're gonna do is we'll put that truss up, we'll put this truss up right here. It goes across to there. And then we'll put this wall up, and then I'll have to basically just bring the truss in straight through here, but it's going to be tricky just because it's a really tight confined space, and the tractor is very large. It takes a lot of space to move it, but we'll finagle it in there and move it around. But the bigger news is tomorrow when we do trusses, we have some wonderful friends that are coming to help us. You'll see them on the video, and I'll try to get them to introduce themselves, because they're just wonderful people. They really are. They've helped before. When we were at Roby days, we volunteer and set up a pen for the pigs. And you know, once Roby days is wound down and all the pig events and stuff are done, it's a greased pig contest for the kids that they do in there. But once all that's done, basically the only event left for the rest of the evening is just games and you know, to chit chat. Well, they stayed behind and helped us take it down, and it's field fence just like we put up here, but the difference is that we have to put a T-post like every 5 feet, because pigs will get out of they're very, if they can get their nose under it, they'll lift it up and get out. But anyways, so we had, I don't know, probably 70 or 80 T-posts up there, because it was like 60 or 70 foot by something. This 60 or 70 foot by 60 or 70 foot. And it was a very difficult, or not difficult, it just took a lot of time to set it up. Well, they stayed behind, and after we all ate and everything, and they helped us take it down. So good people. And like I said, I'm hoping to get them to introduce themselves tomorrow. There's something, well, I don't want to spoil it, so I'll see if I can get them to introduce themselves. All right, maybe y'all remember this, maybe you don't. Earlier in the video, earlier today, by the way, we got lazy. So we finished that wall, and we had such a headache because we didn't have all those actually level with the, the purlings. We didn't have them attached. We didn't check the level of the studs going vertical prior to lifting the wall. So when the studs were like leaning like this or like that, it's obviously a problem. A stud is the strongest whenever it's straight, completely vertical. If it leans, it's not as strong because it can't bear the same weight. And then also the screws or nails that you're using to hold that stud in place will snap under pressure. They're not load bearing. All they do is put pressure to hold the lumber in place so that it can actually bear the weight and the brunt of winds, or the weight of snow, or the weight of the building, the trusses, etc. Well, anyways, I don't want to have to do that again. And, because it's kind of a pain. That wall is so tall. So from the very bottom of the concrete right there to the top of the wall is right around 17 feet. It's up there. So anyways, what I did was I took measurements on where my studs are on this board, and then same thing where they'd be on that bottom plate. So on the bottom plate, and then on the top of the wall, the 2x6 that connects all the studs together, took measurements to make sure they're the same. And then what I did was mark all these purlins, so everywhere that this is they'll line up on a stud. And I measured them all from one end. You always start, whatever end you start your measurements on, you start all of them from that end. If you don't, nothing will ever line up, and then you'll be taking stuff apart, and it'll be a real pain in the butt. So I started from this corner right here by the door. I started there, and I measured over to get my spacing for my studs, 5 foot on center, and then whatever the remainder was. So I did that, and then did the same thing over here. So the door starts right there. So I got my mark down on there after I figured out what my space was that was left over from there. Mark it, and then put my stud on. After that, measured over and marked to make sure that all the studs were in the same distance, and they're pulled from the same point. And then I just did the same thing on the purlins. I'm trying to save you all some headache because, oops, sorry, you probably couldn't see from the sun. I'm trying to save you all some headache if you're doing this, so that you're not in the same boat that we were, having to climb around on this wall to undo stuff. Kind of a pain. Yeah, so hopefully this helps you. Gage wanted to come out and help. Whoop, nope, right here, bud. We're gonna start right here. I'll line it up on our lines, and then I'll tell you when to start. Hang on.
Now? Now?
Go. Oh, you gotta press, remember? So press down real hard. Now pull the trigger. Keep pressing down. Okay, keep pressing down. Go. So you gotta press down the whole time, real hard. Perfect. You nailed it, buddy. Good job. We were down to the last board. Gage actually had it all in, and I was trying to get this bow out. I thought I could push it down enough to get it out. Didn't work. So Gage wants to start the screws on his own. So he's gonna work on that. I'm gonna hold the board in place for you.
Now?
Yep. So remember what I told you?
But I tried that.
Well, I'm gonna show you.
This one started and I'll try it on the other one.
No, it's alright. I'll show you. You get it. So just like that. Here. Now put your left hand. So put this hand right there, and don't squeeze the screw, you're just guiding it. You're just loosely holding it. Okay? And then you're gonna start. Got pushed down. There you go. Right, now you do it on your own this time. So make sure it's lined up on the board below it too. Okay.
There.
Yep. And now, no, keep your right there, and then push real hard. So push real hard. There you go. I didn't do anything. I literally had a finger. That was all you, buddy. Good job.
Now time to get the other ones.
Yep. Now you get the other ones. While Gage finishes that up.
What are these gonna be for?
These are going up on that wall, but we can't put it up until after we do some of the trusses. All right. Gage is finishing that wall. He's almost done. And we're pretty much done for day 4. So, again, goals were all met. And tomorrow we will start putting trusses up with our friends Dominic. Got push hard, bud. Dominic and Julita. But overall, we're ready. Like I said, that's going to be the only headache of the whole thing. Just trying to get back in the building with the trusses. Good job, monkey. Let's check your work. Look at that. You lined it all up. You're on the lines. Good stuff, buddy. Perfect. All right. So Gage is going to take over for me. I'm going to take tomorrow off. And they're going to put the trusses up. So the same boom pole we used for the wall today, we'll use the same thing. I'll attach it, and then it'll be an adventure. It's gonna be tough because of how high we have to go. I gotta take that barn door off in the morning and also the bracketry for it, and then it'll be ready for a truss. But other than that, we're done for today. So thanks for tagging along. I hope you're all learning something. And like I said before, the longer you work with somebody, the more expedient you'll become, more efficient you'll be, just because you'll start picking up on what needs to happen next, and then also you'll pick up on what each other's terminologies and stuff mean. But Chrissy actually didn't take a lot of time out. I know sometimes in the time lapse it looks like she's not there. Whenever she's not there, she's usually making food for us to eat. So, and I appreciate that greatly. So usually she'll go, whenever there's something that I can just do by myself, she'll go get food and stuff ready for lunch or dinner or whatever we're doing. And then we'll eat together and then come back out. But like I said, going good. We'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed week.